Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's discuss CPEC today, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. China that has been a friend to Pakistan for 70 years. China that's always going to be a friend to Pakistan for the next generations to come. And the reason for that is not just that they are close in our traditions, in our culture to us, but also that we actually complement each other. We need China and China needs us. When CPEC first came into existence, which was 10-15 years ago, it was actually to make sure that China has access to the oceans and the vast the Arabian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, the Indian Ocean and all the oceans from where trade could come into China, because China does not have access to that much water. The water that does touch China is being controlled by the United States. So politically, China was very interested in finding a gateway where it could have access to the large masses of water from where trade can come into China, and vice versa, China could send their trade out of their country as well. Another reason why China brought up CPEC with Pakistan, which has come to our knowledge, what we have read and what we have heard from all over, from the experts in this country, is that the northwest region of China is very, very underdeveloped. It is quite, I would say, immersed in poverty at this time. They want to uplift the entire country. They just don't want to concentrate everything in Beijing and Shanghai. They would like to spread it to the whole of China. And that is a great vision of their leaders. And we wish and we hope that our next generation or the present generation of leaders, they can also think in the same terms, that the entire country, Pakistan, should be uplifted, not just Punjab and KPK. Having said that, China was very interested that the northwest province of China and the northwest region of China would have trade, would have industry, would have employment for the poor people, and the status of living and the standard of living of these people could be also uplifted and match at least Beijing and Shanghai. With that in mind, they also had this very strategically laid out plan where they want to connect not just with the oceans and the seas and through Pakistan to the neighboring countries, but their plan is absolutely very visionary, and it's very, very dynamic. They want to connect with the entire world. Their eyes are set on connections between Europe, between America, both the Americas, North and South, towards Australia, New Zealand. They want to spread their wings and they want to try out what they can do as the next superpower of this world. And if they play their cards well, which they are already doing, they are definitely going to be the next superpower of the world. America has been left far behind. Unfortunately, the United States of America could not play its card right at the correct time, or they could not hit the nail on the head when the time was ripe for them. They are used to exploiting countries and nations. They are used to using money to get their way. But there is always a time in a nation's life, as it has been a time in our life in Pakistan, that you stand up against those who are tyrannous, against those who are exploiters, and against those who demand that their demands must be met, but the countries or the nation's need would be put aside. We have been under the debt of IMF and the World Bank and American aid for 70 years. And this is the first time in the history of this country that finally the nation has realized that that's going to take us nowhere. We will remain as we are, as we were in 1947. So to uplift our own selves and to prepare the ground for the future generations, finally steps are being taken. And these steps are being taken not just at the government level, but at individual levels as well. People are now understanding the importance of CPEC. They are understanding that if Pakistan wants to be called a developed country, and if Pakistan wants to be seen on the map of the world as a country that has to be dealt with, a country that has to be reckoned with, a country that must have the trust, it must have the respect of the entire world, then we have to follow certain schedules and we have to follow certain, I would say, plans, just like CPEC. CPEC basically between the army and the Chinese, between the Navy of Pakistan and the Chinese, and of course collaboration with the government of Pakistan is going to be a very dynamic program in this region. We will reach out as a peaceful nation. That is the most important thing. When roads are built and bridges are built, humanity comes together. With the CPEC corridor, we will be put together with not just our own country. We do not know what's happening in the north. We do not know what's happening in the south. We don't know what's happening in the extreme east or on the borders. The CPEC will connect us all. It's like a humongous program to connect Pakistan with each other as well. All the 6 provinces will be connected, all the cities will be connected, and people will be connected to each other. That people-to-people connection will bring peace into not only internally into this country, but when CPEC spreads into Afghanistan, into Iran, into neighboring countries and further countries beyond that also, and hopefully one day India would also be on board with us to take advantage of CPEC. This whole area, this whole continent of Asia will have peace finally. Now, eyes are also set on the Middle East. Eyes are also set on Israel. Eyes are also set on Palestine. This network of corridors, this network of roads, bridges, this network of tunnels and underpasses, this network of economic activity between countries, between nations, which will raise the standard of living, which will bring wealth to the common people, which will bring the poor people a hope to take them out of their misery and put them on a platform where they can survive as normal human beings and not at a subnormal level of humans. Then there will be peace in this region. So I think that CPEC does not have just that economic aspect to it, but it also has a social and an emotional aspect to it. It's going to bring in a lot of jobs, even if it's not for the entire country of Pakistan. At least wherever CPEC is, the people of that country will have jobs. There will be industry, there will be trade, there will be kind of advantages for those people who have never had those advantages. People who have lived in caves, people who have lived on the mountains, people who have had narrow little pathways to go to their homes, people who could not carry water to their homes until and unless they had very strong men in their family. So all this is going to change, and all this is going to bring people together. The world today is all about people-to-people connections. The more we connect with each other, the more we will talk about peace and humanity. Because unless there is humanitarian concern of each other, this world will self-destruct itself. So to save ourselves from annihilation, from destruction, from completely being wiped off from the universe, it's very important that we follow projects. One of those projects is CPEC, and it's important that we not only support it, but we go all out of our way to make sure that we are a big part of it. Thank you.